your students are doing or how many unicorns you are doing it. Now, changing from the job seekers to the job providers, what is that IIT you are changing your DNA? Because in your DNA you are more of a teacher or educational institutes. How you are migrating from job seekers to the job givers?
Okay, so if you see the IITs, the main emphasis is to creating a students for the real world, to solve the real world problems. Now, when we see, as you are saying, that we are not just giving the opportunities to the students, that you should not look at only the jobs. So you should come up with such a thing that you should provide the jobs to the others. So here, what we are doing here is we are now building ecosystems of like the startup ecosystem. If you see at IIT Harvard, it's a third generation IIT. Here now we have established the startup ecosystem. We have our own incubator, and we are giving the opportunities to students during their regular classes. If they have any idea or if they can collaborate with any faculty members, they can, in addition to their regular classworks, they can work on their ideas. And what we are doing at IIT, we are providing that platform to, and we do the nurturing also. So we do, if the student comes with certain idea, and if we found out the idea is really viable, so what we assign a mentor to that particular student, and that mentor is a faculty who is an expert in that particular domain. Now with this also we provide certain funding also. So the funding in the sense, so now if he wants to make a prototype, or if he needs more manpower, so we see the students who are really interested to work with that particular student. So we try to make those groups also. So this type of things that we are trying to do, and we see there are some success stories which are coming at IIT Harvard, and you will come to know in another 2 or 3 years there are wonderful startups that will be coming. So this is what we are doing. And another thing what we are also trying to do here is we are building a joint research centers at IIT. So here to get the industry problems. So now the students are, if you see the BTech students, they're more into the solving the real world problems. And so the classroom teaching is fine. So but they wanted to see what exactly the real world problem, which is the application oriented. So what we are trying to do is we are bringing the research organizations or company at IIT, and we are trying to, with their association, we are trying to build the research platforms or the research centers, which will go in hand with this research organization. So it's not like we are the only thing that we are doing is like the basic research. So we are going into the translational research. So these are some of the things that we are doing.
Great. As you said, you are a third generation IIT, and then you don't have a legacy of doing only teaching. So you can have a new DNA with adding to this. Now, a couple of questions in terms of the startup ecosystem and the subject on startup. Is it a part of the curriculum which we have changed, or if it is being an alumni of IIT itself, a lot of times you have so much of a workload, and then if he has to do something extra, so he has to have that extra zeal to do it, or is it that you are reducing 1 or 2 subjects and then you are adding this sort of subjects, and then once he gets that sort of a motivation and then he goes to this, so how is that? Is it an additional one?
So so when the student comes in the very first year in the BTech, so we have a course which is a compulsory course called as a design and creativity. So he is actually trying to build a small prototype. He's understanding what do you mean by design and prototype. So we have a faculty member who teaches for more than 300 students that course, and so there are groups of the students, 5 to 6. They come up with a nice prototype. So this is the very first course. It's a credit course. Then we have different courses in the curriculum on the startups. So one of the courses, like we have the IP management, then the startup ecosystem. So we have the courses which are into the startup, so that the student can get into know about what is a startup, how will be the business model for any startup. So they are introduced to these courses, and these are the credit courses for the students. And apart from that, we also organize workshops for the students, which will introduce them to the startup ecosystems.
Yeah, great. Coming to my friend Dr. Patil, a passionate person for the startup, worked with different startup systems. Just brief in your center, what sort of facilities you provide to the startup? And the big question is, why 90% startup fail?
So thanks a lot. Thanks for having me here. I think before coming to the question what you asked me, one on the event startup ecosystem, right? I think it's also a point of reflection for a lot of incubators to understand why they exist in the first place. Majority of us, the incubators in the country, feels that it is their job to produce startups, which is, I'm not very sure it is right or wrong, because entrepreneurs need a platform, and if at all any successful incubators are there, incubators should act like a catalyst. They cannot give a problem statements. And unless a founder owns the problem, he or she will never be able to passionate about solving it out. So I think that the role of incubators or accelerators should be more to see can they play a role of catalyst and be that help for the startups to go from point A to point B. That's how it should be there. None of the incubators, in my opinion, should give a problem statements. That's point what I wanted to make out. And coming back to the question what you said. I started my journey as an entrepreneur, done 3 ventures, taken 2 exits. To be very honest, when I was approached by Desh to lead the Deshpande startups, back then it was called Sandbox Startups, I actually asked all the founders, I'm the wrong person you're asking, because none of my startups were part of the incubators. Why would I have to start something? And fundamentally, I believed, because at that point in time, I'm talking about 2016, 2015, bulk of the incubators were all academic incubators, and they were more wanting to give us subject matter experts. I personally believe that incubators, as I said, should exist as a catalyst. We should know what startup is looking and where is that we can support. Academic institutes, with all due respect to them, I'm not very sure if at all they can provide a business mentoring. I personally believe the fundamental philosophies of 3 M's, what I call mentoring, market access, and money. If you ask any startup in the audience here, they need only first 2. Last one, they should chase, if at all, the investor should chase them, if at all they're worthy of it. Mentoring, when I say, bulk of these people do mentors, there are more mentors than entrepreneurs, unfortunately. Mentor's job is more to hold a mirror, not to answer everything what entrepreneur needs. I think in the heat of mentoring, we go and undermine a lot of startups into, and they start driving out the startups there, which is particularly wrong, and this message is more for entrepreneur mentors over there. What we did right in Deshpande startup or in innovation or in Krishikalpa is that we more attach them to right sort of mentors who more hold a reflection mirror for an entrepreneur to see what we do. And these are the industry experts. I wouldn't call them as experts, we more call them as entrepreneurs mentoring entrepreneurs rather than the subject matters coming and doing it out, because experts is 2 different things and entrepreneurship is 2 different things. Entrepreneurship is all about execution, not about ideation, not about theoretical classes. Somebody should have actually faced that heat. Only then he can do mentor. And this is what we do at Krishikalpa. When I exited Deshpande startup, We made sure that any startup get 2 mentors, one industry mentor and one business mentor. Industry mentor or academic mentor is more to give a technical insights. Business mentor to say that whether this particular thing survives or not. At Krishikalpa, what we are more focusing on, it is more in agri space. We are more helping farmers because, see, for me, agri-tech, I started looking only from 2018 onwards. Prior to that, I had no idea what agriculture is all about. All I knew was sales. All I knew was market access part. So we start working with more of FPOs here in Krishikalpa. We also work with a lot of agri-tech startups. What does FPO need? Everybody, every FPO, there are more than 1,500 FPOs in Karnataka. I think most of might be aware. On average, government spends about 50 lakhs per FPO. We don't even have 10% of FPO, which are doing 5 crores of annual revenue. Forget profits. So this was a problem when Shalini Rajesh ma'am, the current chief secretary, gave us to us. We said what we can do. We said we can't take up the entire FPO ecosystem. We try to instill the entrepreneurial thought process in them. What we can do. Again, I only prioritize marketing access. We started connecting agritech startups or a processing center to an FPO. Incident, for example, when we worked in Ramnagara, there were coconut belt, we all know that. We said, this is such a coconut, ragi and mango, predominantly, we took 3 surplus crops. We started connecting them to end customers so that an FPO start talking and negotiating for those. You won't believe, an FPO which had never crossed 40 lakhs of revenue annually, they started doing close to about 5 to 6 crores of revenue. Simple thing what we did is we made them talk to the customers and we told them how did we find the customers for them. This is what at Krishikalpa we are focused on. Of course, there are agencies like CFTRI, there are a lot of incubators which has got a lot of support system where we use those expertise over there. It's a human capital where we invest a lot. So when Prashant started Krishikalpa, one of the renowned investors in the community country here, he said, boss, how do we make math between these two? Then we started working with startups saying that, hey, you need farmers. Nobody will come to you. Might as well you go to the FPO who have a collection of farmers, go there and demonstrate some of those things. Farmers will never believe what you say on your PPTs. You go and demonstrate at the field. I have seen bulk of startups putting plastic tire and expect it to work in the field. Boss, I said, have you in your life, have you gone to visit the field? Why don't you do this with the customer and fail it over there and then take it up? So at Krishikalpa, we're more focused on making this amalgamation between all of these two things, and then we say. Coming to the second point, why startups fail. As I said, everybody feels that what they dream is what the reality. Unfortunately, entrepreneurship is not meant for a weak heart. It's a brutal journey. Your highs are very high and your lows are very low. Unless and until you are willing to take that loss, don't step into entrepreneurship. I am in the business of promoting entrepreneurship, but I want somebody worthy to step into entrepreneurship out there. It is not meant for everybody. Is why we say that go and talk customer validation. Please don't talk to your relatives, friends, family. They always want to support or they want to pull you down. The real help comes only from the market. Never underestimate that ability. And this is why 10 out of 8 startups fail. Everybody starts with a dream. Everybody starts with a passion. Passion is like a spark. You need fuel to get it burnt over there. And the fuel is nothing but discipline, perseverance. Do you have that ability, tenacity to go to the next stage? If only passion is there and the fuel is not there, you won't get to the next stream of thing. And out of 10, unfortunately, 2, 3 of them will have it. They are the one who survives to the next stage. So in your opening remark, you were actually making a point. Some of these startups are not still making revenue. Look at the positive side of it. They have an ability to raise fund and convince somebody. It is not a small art. See, we can always talk about PPs like Ola, Swiggy. How are they able to convince? They are not fools. The people who are getting convinced with the money are not sitting fools. The easy investors have got that storytelling art, conviction, passion, the track record, what they can do. That is where they're able to make it out. I think unless an entrepreneur have a combination of passion and that entire fuel, it's also the co-founding team, the understanding of the domain, wanting to do nothing more. Culmination of this thing is what generates for startups over there. I think incubators should stop playing safe, expose them to brutal horrority at the earliest so that he or she will succeed. And I just make a last point and end it out here. When we started Deshpande Startup, believe me, we used to invite startups. After my first cohort, we had more than 90 to 100 applications coming out. We only used to work with 10 and we made sure that out of 10, 8 of them succeed. If any incubator accelerators provide that platform, it will be a pull market. The more it is a push market, it's a downstream. It's not something other side of it. So that's where I
Great. Soil your hands and don't be think that startup is luxury. It is a hard work. That's very important. Now, see, you have a unique position here. You are a first failed startup, succeeded startup, exited startup, and promoting the startup. So this is a unique position you are. Now my question to you is, I've seen my journey that there are a lot of good founders, a good tech, I said in the opening remark also. Technology is also excellent, but then they are not patils. They don't know how to market it. So how you help, or what is your message that everything is in place, they have hardworking ability, but they are not able to convince people who have money to invest in them.
Okay. So it's a simple, Dr. Sir. So any entrepreneur who is tech geek, who has a best solution, who we believe has an ability, tenacity, and all of those things. I think if that founder is not able to find co-founder with a complementary strength, it's a disaster for recipe. I mean, that's a recipe for disaster out there. He or she needs to partner with somebody who has a storytelling art. And startup successful is not just on technology. Very evidently, we have seen the market. Also, please let us understand, we all the time undermine something called timing. I don't know if some of you have visited this particular speaker by name Bill Gross, a very renowned entrepreneur in US. He did one survey with about 700 startups across the globe, top 10, top 100 startups. He studied hugely funded companies. He studied hugely talented entrepreneurs. He also studied hugely good team. And he also studied startups who had a very good problem statements. And he was wanting to know which are the 5 factors that are very important for startups to succeed. Is it founding team, good problem statements, funding, and timing? It stand out. Timing is an important thing. If you look at Netflix, or let's say Airbnb, another not an agri-tech startup kind of thing, or take Big Basket. See, Big Basket kind of companies can work in cities like metros, Bangalore, Delhi, because where husband and wife are going outside and you need something to be solid and convinced. If I have this idea in small town, will it succeed? No. So you need to be sure that are we the right time at those. Some people call it as luck, but I call it as a timing. You need to have that particular thing. And many tech founders particularly fail because they keep their product close to their heart. No, yeah. I mean, I would always defer that the more you keep your product close to your heart, there are high probability of you failing because your product has to be tested on the ground, not with your conviction level there. So there's a saying, right? Rubber quality has to be tested on the road. Founders who knows this thing, they need to identify what are the complementary gap. I have done 3 companies. Fortunately, I have not failed in one of the startup also. None of the founders were repeat for me. Everyone were complementing to myself. If I'm a tech guy, with the software company which I started, I didn't know about tech. There was a marketing guy. The first company which I started, I was a tech geek. I had a marketing guy who's better than me. So founders should understand what is the complementary strength he or she will get it on. There the chances are very high. It's like we have a light here. If at all I start telling protons are growing at this speed, electrons are beating it, nobody cares. Customer doesn't care. Customer says, I switch on the light, did I get a light or not? That's what is worries about. Many agri-tech startups goes and explain technology because nobody cares in the room. We need to see applications, and that's where I always feel that engineers, we believe more in tech than the applications, but we need to see that does our applications got a real world value. If we are able to see some of this combination, there is where we see a success out there. It's not the other way. So if at all there are any tech co-founders, first thing go and find out a sales guy, go find a finance guy who will help you build the next particular unicorn over there, or next good company. Unicorn might be a different thing. First know how to survive, then go for a skill. Don't look for chasing revenues. Money is always a byproduct. I've made money, I've lost money. I can always tell with conviction, unless and until you are of some value to the customers, nobody will treat you that. That's what I personally believe to that.
Great, thank you. Sir, you being the senior most person and then your guidance is very important. A good administrator, build a good innovative ecosystem, innovation ecosystem in NIFTM, and also done a lot of things in terms of promoting the startup ecosystem. Sir, this is a very important thing. You have lab to market, and then that pipeline breaks. And how it breaks and why it breaks. So I think you are the best person to tell that breakage, why it happens.
Thank you. Yeah, hello. Yeah. Thank you. I think it's a very tricky question, I would say. And of course, it's very important from the perspective of, I would say, academia and industry. In the sense, I know there are a lot of institutions which carry out research. Could be exclusive research organization, could be universities, could be the institutions which impart only education and things like that. But all the same, are they really addressing the real issues on one side? So are they more academic in nature? Yesterday, in fact, Honorable Minister was also mentioning the number of PhDs are coming down. In the sense, because now with the chat GPT and all that, the writing of thesis has become very simple. And you can fool anybody with little bit of knowledge and maybe some catchwords and things like that. That under that scenario, how do we address the real challenges of the industry? I would say in the sense, the industry challenges are the problems of the common man or the market. I think this we need to understand. This is what is the crux of the whole problem. So that means institutions who carry out research should be driven by industry. Probably academia industry meets, which are very important, I would say. In fact, I would say here at NIFTM, when I was there as Vice Chancellor, we have 300 industries which are registered with us for placement of the students and internship and things like that. When we call them for coming up with the problems which can be resolved by the institute or by any other group, hardly few of them, maybe about 30, 40 of them, they came forward. So that reluctance is there because they always think sharing information or sharing their expertise may create some problem, internal problem for them to take it forward. This is on one side. Second, of course, is leave it to the faculty themselves. They come up with all sorts of academic problems which may not really be useful for the market. So these are the two things which we need to really marry. And that's where I think we conducted this sort of meets, 2-3 meets in a year, so that we concurrently keep getting aware of what is really required for the institution to carry forward. So that way, in fact, I would say that when the industry comes up with a problem, they need to fund it. It is not the institution which will fund, but institution will give all the facilities of lab, everything, and which can be used by them, not by the industry. Of course, they need to employ some research fellows or scholars and things like that, and also the mentors from the institute who can really take it forward. I think this worked very well. Some of the industries, including HUL, I think. So they all came up with lots of issues and all that we were able to resolve. They were very happy. In fact, I would even say here, some students also who came up with some sort of problems which could be addressed, and no industry came forward, but institutions supported them. They came up with, of course, the imitated meat products. And in fact, I would say there was a correspondence by the students with the industry in UK, and they wanted such and such a thing to be done. And they did it, and they got a patent at the BTech level itself. So that was a great achievement, I would say. So then, of course, it became a big hit in Mumbai market, and they established a lot of these shops and all that. And of course, all of them, 2 of them, out of 3, 2 of them went to UK. So that way, I think it is possible. First, we should understand what is the real problem of the industry. As was said by Dr. Patil, I think it is just not the technology per se which will prove that any startup can be successful. No. And in fact, the most important problem in the startups is that the business mentors are not proper. See, unless we create or we understand the market and the market demand, and probably I think, even I would say the perceptions of the stakeholders who are supposed to be the customers, we will not be able to move forward. That is the biggest problem, and that we need to really understand. And I would say that is the reason we have a course. In fact, at NIFTEM for BTech, we have a business development program and also the startup programs. So how actually students can really take it forward they can work in the pilot plants which have been created. Huge pilot plants have been created and they work there. In fact, incidentally, I would say, of course, there is in agricultural universities, they have the Earn While You Learn program. There we introduced, and we have 2 bakeries. One was the pilot bakery, and the other one was a bigger bakery, which used to be taken by the industry. We made students into batches, right from second year onwards. I think, these batches, they work independently in bakeries and produce a lot of products. So especially the bakery products and things like that. And I am very much thankful to the students because during COVID time, they produced a lot of bakery products which were immunity induced, and probably I think that were also distributed to the various local hospitals. So that way I think, this is one very important, and another thing is in a residential campuses, so there are about 1,500 or 2,000 students, and each fellow will have his or her birthday in one or the other day, within a month at least about 20 days. So that means they can produce cakes for them and things like that. That's how I think they earn the business part of it. So we need to induce that sort of an environment and try to see that these things are properly addressed on one side. Second is today, food or any commodity need to be certified by FSSAI. The food quality, safety and quality have become very, very important today. Gone are the days when we were taking raw materials food, but today now it's getting packed and preserved for over a time, definitely over at least few weeks or few months' time. So that means these things we need to understand the real requirement of the industry and then move ahead. I think then it should be I would say that we'll be addressing the real time issues. That apart, another thing which I thought I should really make it is, now a lot of institutions keep carrying on research. There is a huge duplicacy. So each institute doesn't talk to the other institute, or within under the same umbrella itself we don't speak. That is the biggest problem. I would say that's the waste of public money. We need to discuss thoroughly within the institute, between departments also.
Yeah.
That variation is not.
Thank you,
that
sir.
is the thing.
Yeah.
That we have to really take care.
Dr. Senthil, sir, very important. See, everybody is talking about you because technology is good, everything is good. Marketing and finance is a problem, and you are the one who provide the mentoring for marketing because we develop technologies. There are so many technologies, but if you're not able to market, the technology has no value. Then first, there is one understanding whether there is a gap how you pitch your product in that particular market, and also in India, take for all. I am producing the product and I don't do the segmentation, market segmentation. Whom I am addressing? Is it for a particular age group or sort of income group? Just they are not defining. So you have a very important role in terms of understanding how you pitch, and then, as I said, because you are not able to market, and then the startup fails. So how you do these sort of things where the startup, whether before launching or once you launch and then say that whether they can position themselves?
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I am from the Indian Institute of Plantation Management, which comes under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. So the question Professor Rajesh was asked, we are in the mainstream of the market. Marketing, I think all of us knows that our students are to have marketable skill. We use the word called marketable skill. What is that? You should be able to market yourself. The student has to, when the industry comes, he should be able to market his value so that the model happens. In the system, in the startup ecosystem also, same thing with there is an issue with our own startups. How do they market the product? How do you, the important value we call commercialization of the products? How do you commercialize? There are a number of ways in which the marketing model happens. It can be in a digital marketing, it can be in a B2B model, or it can be in a B2C model, and many models that. So our institute is being in a management institute from this, like an Indian Institute of Management. We produce the management students for the industry. They are helping the industry to market their product. It may be an input marketing, or it may be an output marketing, or it may be the process products. Large number of in the industry, there is the quality has been enhanced. I am also coming to the aspect here of our theme. Are our academicians are solving the right problems? Or we are aligned with our own industry? If you take it in any academic institution or the research institution, academic research, the question is on academic research. Sir, we have, as of now, we have all of us know more than 112 ICAR institutes. We have more than 76 agricultural and horticultural veterinary universities. And you have, I think, approximately maybe around 40 CSIR institute and we have ICMR institute. All of us are doing the research. What does our research ends with? We are all doing the research with the fundamental research, which is always leads to our academic research over the theoretical orientation. But when you come to the industrial requirement, we have to align our agriculture, our research with the industry requirement, wherein we can market it. Even institutions are not able to market our own technologies. I'll take it I am from ICER for last 35 years. I was an ICR scientist system. We have a large number of technologies we have developed it. Or we are not able to market our research. Around 30 to 35% of the technology we could be able to market. That too, we have a separate organization we created, Section 8 company called Agro Innovate India Limited, which is the main role to connect industry with the research institution. The technology developed by ICER institution has to commercialize the technology. It can be exported with a separate organization and large number of industries. Sir, I would like to tell you here also, I also done a study that it was a big study under the National Agricultural Higher Education Project of the Government of India, supported by the World Bank. How far academy and industry having collaboration? What Professor Vasudeva said, it's having a lot of linkages there. See, we have asked two questions to them. You can also organize, every academic research institution have to organize industry meet. Now it's being organized after this last research grants have been announced by a number of the startup ecosystem when it started, and many institutions. I'm getting continuous communication from many ICR institutes, including IRI, that they are bringing seed industry, food processing industry, all the industry they are coming here, and we are presenting what technology we have it. Similar to your CFTRI. Whatever the technology is, as I attended a program in Tirupati, where our scientist has presented, that was the main concept on the mango. Mango, we have a problem with in the research now. There is a research, the diversification of the research required for the pulp industry. This was the representation done by the doctor here who is sitting in the front row. He has done a CFTRA brought large number of diversification. Industry is not aware of it. Industry is not ready to take up it. So unless we have a frequent interaction, we have to ask two questions, which I said it. What expertise we have and what expertise they have. Right? These two, if you are making that alignment happens. What are the expectations from you and what experience you have it? Sir, I asked these two questions only. 79 industry, where I asked the questions in my 7 workshops conducted throughout the country, that what are the expectations you are expecting from the academicians or academic research? They said they want quality research and quality research students would like to be joined for them. And we also asked the same questions to them, our institution, scientists, what they are expecting. The same thing, what Professor said it,
They are ready to give the industry, but they don't want to pay the money for it. Is it a public funded institutions? We need fund from the industry, and industries are looking for immediate profit oriented. They will to, but our public funded institution, we have a different role. Our research always will foresee what will happen for another 30 years, what will happen to another 40 years. So we have a research in which we foresee what is happening, going to happen. Industry want to solve the problem of immediate. They want the profitability is the one of the aspect. So we are ready to align with them.
Sure.
Presently, our alignment is not that very close. It's having its own gap, and we are ready to market our own commodity.
Sure.
Industry has to come forward, and we are ready to support.
Thank you so
Thank
much. My friend Tirthadasji, ISRO creates problem for all others because ISRO fails and then celebrate and succeed. But we fail and we said stop this project. I was giving this example that Ministry of Agriculture in 1990, they started mission project on oils and pulses. They said we are importing a lot of oil. Give a lot of money, started the project. 5 years. I did not say it's failed, but it did not meet the expectations, and then they close. But then if Gaganyaan 1, if something fails, they say, we are ready, we'll do it next, and then succeed. So there is a difference in the DNA of the other in ministries and ISRO. What is that trade secret, or whether you will train us also to fail and succeed, not necessarily succeed and succeed, because that is where the problem comes. Because if that project should have succeeded, we should have saved a lot of foreign exchange in terms of oil seeds, and then we will import a lot of edible oil.
So to break your answer to two parts, what happens when we fail in a mission, and what are the things behind the success of a mission? When we fail in a mission, there are protocols, there are SOPs, which follow, and you wouldn't have to think after a failure what is to be done. It is everything is prepared. We have a failure analysis board, and then we go through all the data available, all the telemetry data, housekeeping parameters as we call it, available. After we analyze those things, our objective is not to find out it is because of which team or who is the culprit. Our objective is to find how it happened, what is the root cause. Now, once the root cause is identified, how to mitigate it, and once we find out the way to mitigate it, before that you do a lot of simulations and testing, then you do it. And that's how we stand up on our own feet, and that's how you see, even if there is a hiccup, then it doesn't end with the hiccup, we continue with the successes. On the other side of the problem is when we have successes, behind the success there are a lot of, again, SOPs, lot of reviews, lot of simulation. In the morning I was making a mention of lot of simulations that we do at different levels. ISRO review system is legendary because people speak about, when they speak about ISRO culture, they speak about ISRO review system also. These are the things, these are one or two. There is a chain of processes which have become a part of the culture of ISRO, DNA of ISRO, as you were rightly telling. They are behind the success. So I hope I could answer briefly.
Yeah, great. So there are signals that the ministries are having. So I will have a last quick round. As I said in the opening remark, is it a feasible idea to have a model where the stakeholders in the ecosystem come together and build ecosystem and have case studies of one or two, and say for instance technological auditing is done by CFTRI, and then IIT gets into it, and then you help them in accelerating, and SIR helps in finance and marketing, and the mentoring done how to fail and succeed, or how not to fail and succeed by ISRO. Is this a feasible model, and do you feel that this can be done? That's what I felt, that if this can be one outcome out of the RISE, and then you can proudly tell to the minister, yeah, this is a case study, and then these are 2 or 3 startups. We are doing hand-holding, and this is their level of revenue. I'm not talking of profitability, because profitability is a questionable. Revenue has become 2x, 3x, 5x, 10x. Is this a feasible thing? Sir, from you.
Yes. Let me tell you, this has already been happening. Let me tell you about one case study. It is the National Quantum Mission in QM, if I say. National Quantum Mission has got some verticals. One vertical is quantum materials, quantum sensing, quantum communication, quantum computation. So when it comes to all the 4 verticals, there is not one single institution or organization that is doing. It is a consortium of many academic and research institutions who are collectively contributing to all these 4 verticals. Even in ISRO also, we are contributors to more than 1 verticals in this National Quantum Mission. As you are aware, the National Quantum Mission started with a budget of 800 crores, spendable over a few years, and the stakeholders are different departments or ministries of government of India. So this is an elegant example where many institutions are coming together with a well-defined roles and responsibility matrix. And if you are telling about the startups, I further understand there have been many startups who are coming to the domains of quantum communication and quantum sensing. So they are also being fed by the National Quantum Mission. So that is one example from my side.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sir, to you. Sir. Yeah, each one of you just.
Yes, please. Sir.
Yeah, please. Same question to all of you, whether it is.
Oh, I didn't. I thought
Yeah.
that question. Yeah, please.
As I said, in each stakeholder has
Yeah,
a
that's
different role.
understood. Got it.
So how?
There is a requirement. Sir, when I was holding the CEO for the incubation center for around 380 startups, stakeholders consultation only made the success. And taking each stakeholder, what cases they are getting the benefit of it. For example, I was working in the agri and allied sector startup ecosystem. The stakeholders are the APOs. The stakeholders are the bankers, the financial institution, angel investor, venture mentors, scientific institution. So there, each one is had a different role, and we have to record, we have to document it, and each one role, how it has created impact. So it's having its own importance. I agree with
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
You, sir. Just quick one-liner, maybe.
I think, this present world where multi-institutional concepts are there, we need to collaborate, cooperate, and probably communicate properly, and also work together for the benefit of the entrepreneurs. This is my last.
Great. Thank you, sir.
The answer is yes. All we have to think about is how can we create win-win situation for all the involved there. See, because there are 4 scenarios in any business. Win-lose will not work, lose-win will not work, lose-lose will definitely not work. How can we create win-win to all the scenarios will work? I'll just take one example. When we, at Krishikala, we started working with
Can you
industry.
take a lead and do it? All the stakeholders can be with you.
Definitely, yes. So for FPOs, whom we consider we're not doing, believe it or not, but close to in last 4 years, we have facilitated over 180 crores of revenue, linkage between the startups, FPOs, and farmers. So all we have to look at it, how can we create win-win for all the people involved? The moment any consulting agency comes and thinks of everybody's win, I think this is definitely possible over that.
Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Okay, so the answer to your question is yes. It's yes, definitely.
So you are part of it. You are a part of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So just to talk about the success stories, like that was like one of the things that you were asking. So we do believe in the translational research, and with this translation research, we one of the like student-based and faculty-led startups, which is coming into the semiconductor areas, and I guess you will see. So those guys are pitching for the funding right now, and they have won maybe I guess 2-3 awards in some of the forums, and that would be one of the great startup in the semiconductor areas which is emerging now.
Great. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, as the chairperson mentioned earlier, we are having different streams of institutions like ICMR, CSIR, like the different things and policies were different. So from 2010 onwards, we are all come to one conclusion. We share our guest houses first.
Very.
Yeah, that happened. That opened the doors for the R&D. Now we are very happily collaborating with all the inter-organizational things that is happening. That is what yesterday Minister also said. The collaboration is the only mantra to achieve the economical growth in the country. And successful stories, yes, CSIR, in CFTR we are having, and equally challenges also we have. Now we can break these challenges with this collaboration mode. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I hope if there is a very pressing one question or two questions, if there is any, they don't want to discuss offline, if they want to have it here. Anybody? I don't think so. Yeah, over to you.
Thank you all for that insightful session. It was indeed a unique blend of experts representing the RISE ecosystem. I'm sure that the panelists have answered some of the key questions on the need for continuous bridge between the industry and academia, training students as entrepreneurs, providing a right platform for catalyst incubators, and also deliberating on important topics such as the crux of marketing, the time, the hardship in startups, right mentorship, commercialization, skill sets that are equally important in the journey of successful entrepreneurship. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. May I now request Dr. Mache, the moderator, to kindly present a memento as a token of our appreciation. Thank you, sir. To Dr. Tirtha Pratham Das, thank you so much for your time. To Dr. Sendil Vinayagam. To Dr. Chindi Vasudevappa. To Shri C.M. Patil. To Professor Amar Gaonkar. And may I request our director to kindly present a memento to the moderator, Dr. Mache. Thank you, everyone. The valedictory function will be starting shortly. We'll get back to you. Thank you so much.
Sure, sir. So, no, it's a blessing. No, your guidance, research guidance will help us.
you.